Has come to my understanding that I was intrigued by a book called The Lost Paradise. It explicitly talks about demons and most of all, the one fallen angel that we all know, who is named Lucifer. Now, this Lucifer, also known as the fallen angel, who chose to rebel against God. But we also must understand that Lucifer, or Morning Star, changes after his fall, which his name changes now into Satan, which also means the adversary. Now, why does it change into Satan? Lucifer, which was his angelic name, gets cast out and no longer his after he rebelled against God and being struck out of heaven. And now it changes to Satan, which is known as the deceiver, the one who tempts you and the one who encourages you to sin and rebel against God. Now you might be wondering, well, Lucifer, the morning star, where does that even come from? Like, where is it even mentioned in the Bible? The name morning star of Lucifer. If you go to Isaiah 14:12, you will read that it says, "How art have fallen from heaven, O Lucifer." Now you might be saying, well, it never says morning star, it just says, "How have you fallen from heaven, O Lucifer?" But if we go to read the Bible of the New International Version, it says, "How have you fallen from heaven, O day of stars, son of dawn?" This explicitly says and gives an evidence of saying that, well, yes, Lucifer indeed is known as being the morning star. And yes, morning star does mean Lucifer itself. So you could also see why in the King James Version it says, "Oh Lucifer," but in the New International Version it says, "Oh days of stars, son of dawn." Okay, so now it comes down to this. Lucifer. What did he succeed in? What was his cause? Like, what's up with Lucifer? Like, who's this man? Lucifer, who succeeded in convincing 1/3 of the angels up in heaven. He convinced them into rebelling against God. But why? Why would he want to rebel? He saw imagery of his own pride of beauty into wanting to become either like God or even higher. And keep in mind on this also is Lucifer wanted to wield the same nature as God. He wanted to do what God did. And so he wanted to align his throne, make his own throne in heaven, either with God or higher, which also went along with rebelling with God. And that started the war, in which the great war in heaven lasted for 3 days, to the point where Lucifer had to turn into a whole dragon, which was something that is crazy considering that this dude Lucifer took 1/3 and had to turn into a dragon for this great battle in heaven that took 3 days against God's army. However, we also know that Lucifer, who was struck down by lightning, well, not struck down by lightning, but was struck down like lightning, even in his great shape of a dragon, as it said in Revelation 12:7-9. And there was a war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels, and prevailed not, neither was their place found any more in heaven. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called devil and Satan, which deceived the witch world, who was cast out onto earth, and his angels were cast out too. This is showing that, yes, Lucifer was struck down like lightning in his dragon form. But who saw this? Well, the answer comes down that it was Jesus who saw Lucifer get struck down alongside his angels, outcast into the world. Okay, now you might be saying this now. Where does in the Bible does it say that Jesus saw Lucifer get cast out alongside his angels onto earth? If we go to Luke 10:17-18, it says, "The 72 returned with joy and said, 'Lord, even demons submit to us in your name.' He replied, 'I saw Satan fall like lightning from heaven. I have given you authority to trample on snakes and scorpions, and to overcome all power of anything. Nothing can harm you.'" Now you might be saying, well, it says he, it doesn't say Jesus. But if we read a little bit back onto the 17, it says, "The 72 returned and said, 'Lord,'" indicating it was Jesus they were speaking to, considering it was in the New Testament. And it said, Lord, even the demons submit to us in your name. And he replied, and he is known as Jesus. Jesus replied, I saw Satan fall like lightning from heaven. Okay, so it all comes down to this. Who is Lucifer, the morning star? Lucifer is the angel who decided to rebel against God. And it's also the first sin ever committed. It was not Adam and Eve who committed the first sin. That was the first sin if we're talking about humanity. But if we're talking about all-time first sin done, it was actually in heaven in the Great War with Lucifer. So now it comes down to this. Lucifer, the morning star, whose name was cast out and changed into Satan, the adversary, the one who tempts, and the one who makes you want to sin and rebel against God itself, because Satan hates you. And so yes, this is who Lucifer is. The angel who rebelled against God and was cast out of heaven, known as the fallen angel, who was witnessed by Jesus himself, who is said that he was struck down like lightning alongside Lucifer's angels down in heaven. I recommend reading, obviously, the Bible to find out more about who this Lucifer is, but I also recommend reading the book Paradise Lost, where it specifically talks about demons and most importantly talks about Lucifer. Please like and subscribe, hit that follow button so I can keep making these content videos for y'all that I enjoy so much. Have a blessed day.